Thank you so much, Karim. Thank you, everyone. Well, I can torture you in Arabic, in French, or English.
Or Armenian.
What?
Or Armenian.
No, unfortunately, I can't. So, English or French?
English.
English, okay. Okay. First, thank you for doing this. And it's been really very good to see both of you again. It's been a long time. But I would like to say something about Marie-Claude. We met the first time in the parliament. I wasn't a fan of Hassan Diab's government. So obviously, I was against all ministers, everyone. And then one day, she comes to the parliament suggesting a kind of a proof of income for every Lebanese official, PEP, everyone who's a public servant, تدبير السادس. I don't know how you call it. Yeah.
Sixth measure.
Yeah, the sixth measure, yeah. So she comes to the parliament suggesting that, and then all the political parties, with no exceptions, one after the other, they started grilling her. And I've heard them saying things that I couldn't have imagined, hearing something like that in the General Assembly. So that day, I started to think, maybe I have to dig more and know more about this lady. And this is not the first time I talk about this incident, because for me it was, I was defending her that day, if you remember. And I was the one that didn't accept to give any chance for this government, because we thought it was a puppet government. And so it had good elements. And that's why il faut pas prendre des choses en vague. Il faut vraiment connaître les gens. So I wanted to say this.
I just want to add something to what you're saying, if you allow me to do that, because it's something that...
Let me tell you, it's not only in third world countries. Sexism is something that's happening everywhere in the world. If you noticed what Sigrid Kaag was trying to say, she was trying also to talk, she insisted on talking about the smear campaigns that are following her. She's a mother of 5. As you can see, she's white, blue eyes, she's the typical person that a European would like to vote for, despite the fact that she looks like the mainstream, something that the mainstream would like to see. She's married to a Palestinian, and she's very liberal, and that's why she gets, the worst smear campaign maybe in Europe against a female representative. She gets really daily also grilling on social media, and I always ask her, please speak up, don't stop, because your fight here will affect women everywhere in the world. And I want to tell you, I get my daily dose of positivity from Najat and Melhem. Each time I go to see them in the parliament, and I have, headache and million of things on my head, despite the fact that I'm sleeping in my own bed, in the comfort of my room. I go and see them smiling and happy and full of, full of hope and full of everything. And it's really, they make me feel bad somehow. And at the same time, I cannot but have lots of respect for what they're doing. And they're continuing all the time. Let me tell you, they get offers every day, and I get offers too. People trying, especially MPs, trying to tell me, let's find an exit for them. And I smile, because I know the answer. I know that they're doing something that they feel more comfortable maybe than anyone who's, in perfect conditions, because they feel that they're doing their duty. So tomorrow we have a demonstration. Again, we're back to the street, because we need to go back to the street. We've seen a 2 months sit-in. The mafia doesn't care. They don't care. The political leaders, they don't care. They have a very good product to sell to the Lebanese, and it's called sectarianism. So each time there is any kind of challenge for them, they go back to this card. And unfortunately, it keeps on selling. It sells in Lebanon. Till today, since I was born, this card was selling, and it's still selling. So we need to do something more. So now the sit-in is continuing. Najat and Melhem are definitely joining the crowds. This is not the first time we call for a demonstration. We tried the first day they went in, but we wanted to see how the reaction will be. People that day did not show up. Very little, let's say 100 maybe of people showed up, and the rest they stayed in their houses, watching the dollar, how it's gonna spike, watching their lives falling apart and not doing anything. So basically we need to restore hope in this country. We need to make people believe again that there is something that we can do, and that if we just surrender, it will be the end of any Lebanon that we can dream of. So for us, we will continue fighting till the end. Yes, the price is very heavy to pay. I called for this demonstration 2 days ago. You can read the party's electronic armies and their response to this video. And I'm not talking to any of the subject of the parties, because unfortunately they became subjects and not citizens. So I'm talking to the Lebanese who wants to see change. We cannot do change ourselves alone. And it's not true that having 13 or 12 or 9 or 8 MPs is enough. No, it's not enough. We are not only less than 10% of the parliament. Whenever one of us would look at the street and see that it's empty, they have nothing, but the streets are empty, it gives a very bad message in politics to that person. And it allows them to go back to those traditional, conventional parties that brought the country on their knees. And we've seen it happening. Once they had the triumph over the revolution, there was many factors, the corona, lots of things, we all know. But the most important thing that stopped people from going to the street was despair. They thought that change would be imminent, very easy, that there's so many Lebanese in the street for the first time, without a za'im, without the call of the leader of the clan, without a sectarian agenda, just all the Lebanese asking all of them to go home. It was unprecedented. So they didn't know if they can break it. Once they broke the spirit of these people, they restored a lot of their popularity. And every day they're gaining more and more ground. They're gaining ground by being against each other's. At the same time, they feed each other's. So when we went to parliament, we had two ways of doing things. Either we behave like the opposition, a small, tiny minority. We just give the solutions. We try to work with others, but with some limits. Or we go all the way and try to change things. That was a constant debate. Melhem had the idea of having an initiative around the presidency. And he said, we're going to a vacuum and it's very dangerous to the country. Let's try to do something. We went to all the blocks, no exception, all of them. We paid a very high price from our own credibility, because we were sitting with these political parties and trying to convince them to find a middle way, a president that can run the country differently. So we did this adventure, and they all said it's amazing, very good initiative. Let's work more on it. Let's meet more. Once we tried to put names and to the criteria, here we realized that they wanted, they had only their own maneuvering, and they didn't want to continue on this initiative. We knew we were going to a vacuum. And today, the vacancy is already 5-6 months, almost, and there is no horizon. Some people are still expecting a president to come from the agreement between the Iranians and the Saudis, the one that was made in China. And they're not wrong. They're not wrong. This country was run from foreign forces for way too long. We tried to make it, a Lebanese president for once, and I admit that we failed. We're still trying, and the sit-in is still ongoing, but having people in the street is crucial. It's very important to see anything implemented in this country. Thank you.